When you're working a 9 to 5 job, you can only make so much money every hour. What happens when you're maxed out? Even now, I'm choosing to work 7 days a week. Working 7 days a week, I'm still not making much money. And I want to make double the amount of money I'm making now so I can save 100% of what basically I'm making now. So if I make double than what I'm making now, I would be able to save 100% and invest 100%, and not even just to save and invest it. You want to have that in your investment account just sitting on the side. Here's an example. Robinhood supplies a 4.25% APY right here with gold. $5 a month, which is nothing. If you have $1,000 in here or something like that, 2,000, even 1,500, it'll cover that $5 a month, no problem. You can see lifetime interest paid here. I've gotten $147.30. I've only recently started doing this, and that's just free money from having your uninvested cash just sitting in there. Of course, not everyone is going to have a large amount of uninvested cash, although many of you may. And the ones that do, the ones that don't, it's better than keeping it in a bank account. No one's telling you have to spend it. No one's telling you have to buy any type of stock. You don't even have to do anything. You can simply hold your money into here like a bank account. Is it safe? Is it FDIC insured? Let's see. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And then I added a little bit more money to the Roth IRA. Roth IRA is up. It was up 90% or so before, but now it's up about 76%. Still nice. This is just, some small money I put that I wanted to grow. Tesla's up quite nicely. I bought at 212. I didn't really even try to time it. It just seemed cheap, so I bought at 212. It was at 212 for a long time. It was even cheaper. I tried to get it at 180 or so, different prices, and about 210, 212 right here. It was chopping around here for a long time, even since back here, 212. 218, 223, 228. It's been around. You guys had a chance to buy these numbers, these levels for a long time. You could have bought in the dips and chopped and made money. But that's just on Tesla. SPY, it's the same thing. You get many opportunities to buy dips. It's your responsibility as an investor and someone that owes yourself the responsibility to buy low, trim high, or just never sell. Just buy low, dollar cost average on the way down, only on quality companies like the Magnificent Seven, or what I have here, which is VOO or SPY, S&P 500, top 500 companies, basically the U.S. economy, never really fails, past 100 years. This is what people use. Average 10-11% return. If you buy the dips, you can get more, and it's practically free money. And if your money's not in the stock market, not in, your money it's slowly burning. Inflation, assets go up with inflation. Why do you think the rich get richer and the poor get poorer? Because the poor don't really own assets. The poor own liabilities. They own things that drain them money. They do things that drain them money. They don't put their money to work because they don't really have money. Why don't they have money? Because they didn't grind hard enough and long enough, and they didn't put it in the right places, and they didn't let it grow. That's all it is. And if you're starting as a new generation person like me, all you need to do is stick to the basic principles and you'll be okay. Always have money on the sidelines. Right now, market's doing what? Warren Buffett, one of the best investors in the world, billionaire, is doing what? Large cash position. Why? Look at the overall trend of the market. Extremely high. It's always very high. But when you look at the longer term on the chart, there's periods of consolidation. We have no consolidation over the past entire year or two. Yep. We're about to be in 2025. So I'm going to be patient. Maybe the market comes down to, comes down to the 500s. It's possible, the base of this. It's a nice little 10% pullback from where we are, 10, 12%. Very possible. Oh, nice. Complimented that girl's long hair a while ago, and oh no, she didn't cut it. Never mind. Sorry, getting sidetracked. I'm at my 9 to 5. You guys should always be at some type of 9 to 5, some type of work. Always be making money. The trick to getting rich and investing a lot, it took me a minute to realize. That's just a slang term. I mean, like, it took me a long time to realize that you need to make as much money as you can with all the time that you can. How do you do that? Always have a job. Always be looking for work. Don't just say, oh, I am. Okay, but did you work this week? Did you work this weekend? Did you make money this weekend? Did you make money this week? What are you doing later? Oh, I'm going to play some video games. Okay, do that for 1 hour. You're going to do that for 8 hours? Why weren't you working those 8 hours? 6 hours, 5 hours, 4 hours, whatever. You should have made money every day. Try to make as much money as you can, because if you don't, you're not going to make that much. Even if you do try to make as much as you can, you still may not make that much. But you're going to make a whole lot more than the version of you and the other guy and the other guy and the other guy that didn't. That's not doing it. And those guys are still dreaming, how do I get rich? Oh, what's the secret? The secret is there's no secret. The secret is you need to stick to the basics and do what the rich people do. Do what has been working. Do what works. It's not, you're not trying to create a new cookie recipe. The chocolate chip cookie recipe has been around forever. It's not hard to make a good chocolate chip cookie. It's not hard to get a good investment account and make good money and retire. It's not that hard. It's actually simple. But simple doesn't mean easy. Simple means easy to understand, the basic, not too many, levels to it, not too much to it. You can buy VOO or the S&P 500. Look at the count here. I can go like this and buy. Go to the shares. Do a limit order or a recurring investment. This is what we want. A recurring investment. It's a conditional order, as it says here. We can do every market day. I already have one of these set. And what will it do when you set it? It will simply... Oh, I have that on the Roth IRA. It will simply just buy. Look at this. I put a $5 daily recurring investment on NVIDIA, Tesla, and SPY on the Roth IRA. Why? And because in the Roth IRA, of course, in the long term and everything, I want to be very careful and do everything very sound and safe. But in the Roth IRA, I really want to do that. So what I'm going to do, I'm just dollar cost averaging into some of the best companies. NVIDIA, people can't get their hands on enough chips. Tesla, robots, AI, everything. I've done a lot of research. Everyone do your own, due diligence on specific companies, but that are not ETFs and not, just diversified funds like SPY or Apple, something that, is, a pretty guaranteed, Apple is one of the largest positions in Warren Buffett's stock portfolio. He's trimmed it a lot. He's trimmed a lot of things. He has a cash position which is large because, as I've said before in previous videos as well, he's being careful because we're at some strong highs. And just because your account looks like this, or your account looks like this, or like this, your account is down. Oh, because my account's down, it has to go up. No. Ignore this. Ignore everything. Ignore the money. Ignore everything. Only pay attention to percentages, support and resistance, and price fluctuations, price activity. Are you high? Are you low? And play off of that. Okay, one of the principals are going to her car. These people are stopping by the workplace for some reason. But, hey, you guys want a secret? Do you hate your 9 to 5? I talk about 9 to 5s and this and that, how easy it is, but do you hate yours? You can get a guard card for less than a couple $100. Guard card. do it online. Find some local security guard class online, or I mean, in your area or online. You can get a guard card in 2 days. What does that mean? Not just the power to arrest. Okay, you have a cool little card, you can become a security guard. You can become a security guard. What do security guards do? They do security. They walk around. They just kind of they're the presence. But you know what you're not doing is lifting things, organizing, dealing with customers 24/7, constantly working on your 8-hour shift. Your 8-hour shift is not constantly being worked. You can use these hours. It's like it's like an investment process. You're not spending all your time. Time is money. You're not spending all of it. You can use it by going on your phone a bit during your job if you get the right security job. If it's laid back enough, And this is just for a 9 to 5, something that's going to pay you, the minimum. I'm not talking about, a career or an engineer. Anything could be a career, but, I'm not talking about some crazy job or business idea. Of course, you have to work very hard, but if you're just trying to collect some checks and figure it out in the meantime, a security guard is what I recommend, especially if you don't want to do something that is too active and, a lot more relaxed physically. Maybe not mentally, you have to be aware and whatnot, but physically, for some security guard jobs, just keep looking around, you'll find a good one. And you can study, invest into yourself, watch my videos while you're at work if you want. And one day you'll become financially free, and you can do it with a 9 to 5. And I'm just telling you guys, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you do. You can make a bunch of money. You can make a little bit of money. I got the shorts here. I have short-term videos, short form, where I'm telling you little snippets, and you can see from my very early video. Let's show you part 1. Just a quick glance.
I can use advanced.
Part 1.
Hey, this is the first
This is
video
1
I'm
month
making.
ago.
This is 9 to 5
About 1 month ago.
to Rich with stocks.
Where was their portfolio? I was down nearly
I've been in the market
$9,000.
since 20.
I had 43,000. I've only put in
August.
about three and a half thousand dollars
Got about 10
since relative to the account. It's not much,
grand.
and I've made back about $5,000 in the past month. $6,000 in the past month since I made this video. How?
From unemployment. Most money I ever had in my life. So I'm like, what can I do with it? I'm not just going to be like my friends, spend it.
How? By just being a little bit frugal. Why do you think people are frugal? As in, they're not overly spending, wasting money. Because do you really have, an extra $50, $40, $30 to just throw on some stuff? Oh, I made a couple $100 on my paycheck. Yeah, but if you need to look at, do you live week to week? Or do you live, for the next 30, 40, 50 years? We don't know. No one really knows. But if you're going to decide to spend your money on, short-term fun, short-term gain, that's fine. But it's like gambling, Are you secure? Are you okay with not having security? Or do you want to be financially stable and not have to worry? Because when you're younger, young, whatever that means, when your body's deteriorating at a much slower rate, or it's growing still, you have a lot more energy. Physically, mentally, you can adapt a bit more, you're a bit sharper, you're a bit more creative. I'm just assuming these things. I'm 26 years old. And this is the time to make money. Be creative. You're investing your time. Otherwise, if you're not really investing your time, you're kind of just using it, what happens when the time changes? You might think time is always the same, and it is. But you perceive time differently at different stages in life. If you're sick, time will go by very slow. If you're in pain, it'll go extremely slow. Can you imagine being in such hardship to where, food, sleeping, life, work, house, living situation, everything is just crazy. You have issues left and right. For many people, this is how it is. This is how it is for me too, in different levels. Although, if you want to get out of that or stay as far away as possible from poverty, simply work, make money, take a large chunk of that and invest it. How do you invest it? I've told you. And if you want to know more, you can always leave a message and we can talk directly. If you want a one-on-one course, that's a bit different. Although, for now, watch my videos. The normal ones, the shorts. Oh, this guy's at the gate. I gotta let him in. Honking at me like I'm a, I guess it is my job to be security, open people, let him in the gate and stuff. But, I did sign up for this. I can't, as a man, when you say you're going to do something, you just got to do it. But why is that? Because as a man, you got to be smart enough and logical enough and be able to look into the foreseeable future to where you won't regret your decisions, because you need to be smart. You have to look. You can't just, I don't want to say a girl, but a lot of women, they don't have to really plan for their future. Why? Because they have innate value, beauty, youth. They're a female. They're a woman. And as a man, it's possible to have these, attributes that are very wanted, but they're a lot less and few. The advantages of a man are in other areas. But men and women can both invest, secure their future by investing, being patient, and sticking to the basics, and they will have success. And that's for anyone. The younger you start, the better. But as long as you start, you're okay. Go to the investment calculator real quick and just give you guys an example. Let's say I start with $100 or $1,000. You can make $1,000 with a normal job, but let's say you started with 100, and let's do it 20 years, about 15% a year, because you're buying the dips, you're doing okay plays, and you're putting in. You started with $100, but you have a nice job. You're making $2,000 a month, $3,000 a month. You're putting $1,000 a month, okay? And if you're not putting $1,000 a month, eventually you get a better job. If not, always try to work more, do more hours, and you can save $1,000 a month. And what's that? After 20 years, starting with just $100, just $1,000, you have $1.5 million. How? You put in $240,000 total principal, and your total interest you've gained is $1.2 million. $1,259,111.03 is what would happen if you made a 15% return on an average annual basis. Your average return, SPY averages 10 to 12% a year. If you were in the market just recently, you got about 20% in 1 year. 26%, 27% in 1 year. You've been buying the dips, maybe you're up 30, 40% this year. Say you were getting 20% over the next 20 years. $100 deposit, $1,000 a month. Now you're at $3 million instead of 1.2. You put in 240,000 and you're at 2.8 million. Even if you're just getting the SPY, the most conservative, let's do $500 a month, even less, and you're only making 10% a year instead of 15, and it's still for 20 years. You started with $100, you're at nearly $500,000. So it really does matter how much you put in. And it does make a difference. But what the main difference is getting this percentage as high as possible consistently. And how do you do this? You always have to be buying the S&P 500. Always be buying VU. Always be buying the top Magnificent 7. Apple, Amazon, PLTR, Facebook. But the majority of your cash, 70%, 80% into SPY. The rest, 20%, you can do into these other plays like Tesla or other things. But I would do the rest in SPY. And I'm just talking to myself. None of this is financial advice as usual, because I'm not a licensed financial advisor. Although you don't need to be a rocket scientist to drive a car. You don't need to be a NASCAR driver, professional street racer to press the gas, turn the wheel, and put the car in drive and reverse, and use your mirrors and your blinkers. It's not that hard. You're not a billionaire. No, you're not Warren Buffett. I'm not Warren Buffett. But there's millions and millions and millions of people that have made millions and millions of dollars in the stock market right off their phone, right off their computer. How? By listening to people like me that have been watching videos for a decade, watching billionaires, podcasts, reading reports, reading studies, reading the most efficient ways on investing, the best techniques. I've gone through option trading, I've gone through day trading, I've gone through swing trading, I've gone through, buying, selling puts, cash secured puts, credit spreads, debit spreads. I've done the wheel strategy, which is quite good, but you need a very large account, a large amount of money for this. I've done, selling covered calls, buying cash secured puts. There's a time and place for everything, but overall, everything, instead of overcomplicating everything, what I tried to teach myself throughout the years, all this stuff that I just told you, what works in the end of the day, in the end of the year, that what truly works long term, what I've found success in, is what I've been preaching to you. Dollar cost average, set that recurring investment, and don't set it too high, but don't set it too low. Set a recurring investment you can handle, taking out of your paycheck every month, and invest that into the S&P 500 or VOO. This is what I would do. This is what I am doing. But be patient and be aware of where you are. Is the market at an overall high? And know how the stock moves. Everything is different. I can look at Tesla right now and say, oh, it's way too overextended. I'm never going to buy. I'm not going to dollar cost average. And then Tesla can go down to here. Tesla can go double of this. Tesla, most stocks we don't know. But we know when you're buying something diversified like SPY, when it does fluctuate, because everything will fluctuate. Everything does. This is Tesla on the 5-year. This is NVIDIA on the 5-year. This is Apple on the 5-year. Apple, one of the best companies in the world. Warren Buffett buys insane amounts of Apple. Billions of dollars. Hundreds of millions of dollars. Buys it, trims it, holds it forever. It goes sideways, it chops. But if you know what you're doing, you can make a lot more than 267% in 5 years. And on the max. Amazon, 5 years. Everything looks different. Some things have large fluctuations, large dips, large highs, low dips. Everything is different. But when you go to SPY, this is typically where people invest their money for the long term in their investments account. Because look at the max and the 5-year. The times it does fluctuate, these large hills, it always kind of reverts back to the mean. And I think the mean's right about here, about 500, 512. Kind of scary, but it's pretty darn low. 510, 511. 17 to 26. It's a 10% drop from here. 10% drop from here. There'd be about a 12% drop to here from highs. Very possible. What can make that happen? I don't know. It can literally be anything. But the insane thing that I've witnessed with my own eyes is it will play out like that. What happened here? Fed rates. What happened here? Oh, I'm waiting for the market to go down. It's been up. It's up and up and up and up. Should I just buy up here? It doesn't matter. Probably just going to keep going up. And what happened? I'm not going to be too overly invested at highs. And I didn't. And I was rewarded for buying the dip. The dip was Fed rates. Oh, we thought we were going to have 4 rate cuts in 2025. No, we're only going to have 2. Random stuff happens. You can say random stuff, just like, oh, Border Patrol, some issue, something with the inflation, some little war is cooking up, some issues, some treaty, something happens, and things will go right to where you think they'll go. This happens all the time on SPY. All the time. And if not, they'll fake you out a little bit, or, a little bit. But it's pretty consistent. Pretty consistent. So, the stock market is often seen as a transfer of wealth. The stock market is a money weighing system. It transfers the wealth from the impatient to the patient over and over. Every day, every week, every month, every year. And not just the patient to the impatient, because look at this. I can show you, daily price dips. China high-speed transmission equipment. Like, what is this? This is the 5 years. Like, not everything goes up. Not everything. There's a lot of ways to lose money in the stock market. A lot of ways. Oh, I'm going to buy a stock that looks like this for the past 5 years that's crashing, and the Glimpse Group, technology development company, what is this? 2.1 million volume, 62 million market cap, PE ratio negative 10.808. Look at the earnings. Don't just buy anything. Don't, even if it's something that looks good.